Football is dead, and FIFA just buried it while you were arguing about VAR. I'm not being dramatic. While everyone was busy debating offside calls and Messi versus Ronaldo for the 10,000th time, FIFA quietly slipped through a rule change that fundamentally rewrites the sport we've loved for over 160 years. Mandatory 3-minute hydration breaks at the 22-minute mark of every half. Every match. Every league. Regardless of whether it's 90 degrees in Dubai or snowing in Manchester, player welfare, hydration, who could argue with that? Except it's not about hydration, it's about money. It's about turning the beautiful game into the NFL. And by the end of this video, you're going to see exactly how broadcasters, coaches, and FIFA executives just pulled off the biggest heist in football history, and we all clapped for it. Here's what I've been digging into for the past 3 weeks. I went through FIFA's recent rule announcements, broadcaster contracts, and tactical breakdowns from Premier League and La Liga coaches. And what I found is genuinely disturbing if you love this sport the way I do. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is happening right now. In this video, I'm going to break down 3 things. 1, the hydration break rule that nobody's talking about and why FIFA pushed it through so quietly. 2, the commercial secret hiding behind it that's about to make broadcasters billions. And 3, the tactical exploit that elite coaches like Guardiola and Klopp's successors are already weaponizing to break the game wide open. But before I get to the money part, which is where this story gets really filthy, you need to understand exactly what just changed, because the rule itself sounds completely innocent. And that's the whole point. So here's the official story. FIFA mandates a 3-minute hydration break at the 22-minute mark of each half. Both halves. Every professional match, regardless of weather conditions. Let me say that last part again because it's the part that makes 0 sense. Regardless of weather conditions, hydration breaks aren't new. We've seen them before. Remember the 2014 World Cup in Brazil? Players were cramping up in the Amazon heat. Refs would call cooling breaks when the temperature hit a certain threshold. That's logical. That's player welfare. Nobody complained. But what FIFA just did is completely different. They've taken something that was an emergency measure for extreme heat and turned it into a mandatory, scheduled pause built into the fabric of every match. Doesn't matter if you're playing in 40-degree Qatar or 2-degree Newcastle in February. The whistle blows at minute 22. Everyone walks to the touchline. 3 minutes. Every single game. Think about what that actually does to a football match. The sport we love is built on flow. It's built on those moments where momentum swings, where a team is pinned back for 15 straight minutes, and you can feel the pressure building, where one mistake from a tired defender at minute 38 leads to a worldie. That's football. That's why we watch. Now you get 22 minutes, then a commercial break, then 23 more minutes. Half-time. Repeat. If that structure sounds familiar, it should, because that's not football anymore. That's the NFL. That's the NBA. That's American sports. 4 quarters, with built-in commercial windows. And here's the part that should make every real football fan furious. FIFA didn't announce this with fanfare. There was no big press conference, no fan consultation, no debate. They slipped it through with the same energy you'd use to update a terms of service agreement, hoping nobody would actually read it. But somebody did read it, and what they found behind it is what I'm about to show you next. Because the real story isn't the rule, it's who benefits from it. Here's the question nobody at FIFA wants you to ask. If this rule is really about player welfare, why are broadcasters suddenly allowed to run advertisements during these breaks? That's the smoking gun. That's the part that makes this whole thing make sense. For over a century, the single greatest commercial weakness of football, from a business perspective, was the lack of TV ad breaks. Think about it. An NFL game is 3.5 hours long, but only has about 11 minutes of actual play. The rest is commercials, beer ads, truck ads, pharmaceutical ads. That's why the Super Bowl charges $7 million for a 30-second slot. Football gives you 45 minutes of continuous play, no timeouts, no commercial windows, just the game. And broadcasters have been losing their minds over this for decades, because every minute of uninterrupted play is a minute they can't monetize. Now do the math on what just happened. 2 3-minute hydration breaks per match. That's 6 minutes of guaranteed, mandatory commercial real estate. Multiply that by 380 Premier League matches per season. That's 2,280 minutes of new ad inventory, just in one league. Multiply that across every major league on earth, plus Champions League, plus international tournaments, plus the World Cup, and you're looking at tens of billions of dollars in new revenue. This is the part where I went down the rabbit hole. Broadcasters in the US have been pushing for ad breaks in football for years. NBC, Fox, ESPN, they've all lobbied for some version of this. Because here's the dirty secret. Football is the biggest sport on earth, but in the American TV market, it's been a tough sell because you can't sell ads during play. Soccer in America has always been a financial puzzle for that exact reason. Now it's not a puzzle anymore. And it gets worse, because once you accept that one commercial break per half is okay, what stops them from adding 2 or 3 or scheduled cooling breaks at minute 11 and minute 33? Once the door is open, it stays open. But here's where this story takes a turn that I genuinely did not see coming. Because it's not just broadcasters who benefit. The coaches, the same managers we love to watch on the touchline, they've already figured out how to weaponize this rule for tactical advantage. And what they're planning to do with it is going to completely change how the game is played. Imagine you're a coach. You've spent years building a high-pressing, gegenpressing, suffocating system. Klopp at Liverpool, Guardiola at City, Bielsa anywhere he goes. The whole philosophy is built on one thing: running your opponent into the ground for 90 straight minutes. What's the one thing that breaks a pressing system? Rest. Recovery. A break in the action. So what happens when FIFA gives you 2 guaranteed, mandatory, 3-minute breaks every single match? You just got tactical timeouts. In football, for the first time in history, this is the part that genuinely changes the sport at the elite level, and it's already happening. Coaches in pre-season have been openly talking about how they plan to use these breaks, not for hydration, for instructions, for tactical adjustments, for resting their high-pressing forwards just long enough to go again at full intensity. Think about what a team like Manchester City does in the first 22 minutes of a match. They press, they suffocate, they force you into mistakes, but by minute 60, even they get tired. That's when teams beat them. That's when the cracks show. Now Guardiola gets to hit pause at minute 22, walk over to his players, adjust the press, give them water, reset their lungs, then do it again from minute 25 to minute 45, half-time. Repeat. You've just removed the single greatest equaliser in football: fatigue. The underdog teams, the ones who hung on by their fingernails and stole points in the 89th minute because the big club ran out of legs, those teams just got robbed. Because now the big club never runs out of legs. They get scheduled recovery built into every match. And the tactical adjustments. That's the other layer. In American sports, timeouts are a fundamental strategic weapon. Coaches use them to ice kickers, to break momentum, to draw up a play. Football has never had that. The only half-time adjustment was, half-time. 1 break in the middle for 15 minutes. Now coaches get 4 touch points with their team per match. Minute 22, half-time. Minute 67, and full-time. Every one of those becomes a chess move. If your opponent has scored 2 goals in 5 minutes and the momentum is killing you, you don't have to hope the ref blows for a foul or wait for the ball to go out. You just wait for minute 22. The whistle goes. You walk over. You break their rhythm. You change the entire complexion of the match. This is the death of momentum football, and the death of momentum football is the death of what makes this sport so beautiful in the first place. So let's pull this all together, because when you stack these 3 things on top of each other, what you're really looking at is a complete redesign of football. And it happened in plain sight. FIFA gave broadcasters their American TV format. Broadcasters get billions in new ad revenue. Elite coaches get tactical timeouts. The big clubs get even bigger advantages. And we, the fans, we get a game that looks less and less like the one our parents fell in love with. This is what commercialization actually looks like. It's not loud, it's not obvious, it's not Saudi money buying clubs or VAR ruining decisions. Those are the things we argue about because they're visible. The real changes, the ones that actually rewrite the sport, those get smuggled in under the language of player welfare and modernisation. That's not football, that's a 4-quarter sport with a different shaped ball. And the worst part, we're going to get used to it. In 5 years, kids who start watching the game today won't even remember a time when matches flowed for 45 unbroken minutes. They'll think this is normal. They'll think this is football. But you and I, we know what just happened. We know what we lost, and we know exactly who profited from it. The question now is, What do we do about it? Do we accept it? Do we tune out? Or do we make enough noise that the next rule change, the one they're already planning, doesn't slip through the cracks the same way this one did? Because here's the thing, everything I just told you, the breaks, the ads, the tactical exploit, none of it matters if you don't understand the bigger picture of how FIFA has been quietly reshaping this sport for the last decade. The hydration break is just one move on a much larger chessboard, and once you see the full board, you can't unsee it.